Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Abi Lasmar. I'm the founder of Ummahpreneur, where we help Muslims start and grow halal online businesses. And in this video, you're going to have the pleasure to watch me interviewing one of our students within our Muslim Business Accelerator program, where we mentor Muslim professionals from all around the world in all kinds of different backgrounds to help them really start, build, and grow halal online businesses. You'll get the chance to meet some of my students and how they're growing within the program and the businesses they're building, and get an inside view on their own experiences through their own words instead of mine. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this interview series where I spent some time sitting down with my clients, my students, and really entrepreneurs that are in our program right now, building amazing businesses and having awesome impact. And with me today, I have Sister Zahra Abbas. Zahra, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this interview. I was going to say welcome to the podcast because I'm so used to saying that. But I guess in this case, welcome to the interview. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Walaikum assalam, brother Abi. Jazakallah for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And I'm really, really excited to do this with you. And you have the reason why I want to do this with you is because you had come into the program and really built your business from scratch and built something really, really beautiful and amazing, mashallah. And you're kind of getting to that cusp where you're about to just scale this entire thing, really launch your entire funnel, your ads, and just really explode the business. And I'm super excited about where we're at. But I want to share with people the journey, the background of, what we had to do to get here, as well as, your experience as well. So before we dive into all of that, can you share with me a little bit about what even inspired you to become an entrepreneur and, what you currently do as a full-time job outside of entrepreneurship right now as you're making the transition?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a chartered accountant here in the UK outside of my entrepreneurship. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Back when I was studying, we didn't have social media and it wasn't as easy to launch online businesses, and everything was very much bricks and mortar. But even then I had the seed within me that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And part of the reason of going down the accountancy route was actually to get enough knowledge and skills and ability to launch my own business one day, inshallah. So it's always been there. It's only now that with the rise of social media and online businesses and having accessibility to people all around the world at touch of a fingertip, that it's really that seed became to fruition. And I thought, this is something that I need to be doing now and developing my entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, that's amazing, mashallah. And what was it that really, do you recall a certain moment or a certain time or period in your life where you feel like this was the time where I really made that decision? I drew a line in the sand and I said, I'm going to go for it. Because a lot of people are in kind of like on the fence and not sure when is the right time to get started. So for you, when was that time? Do you recall what you were doing, what you're up to, what your thoughts were, what you were feeling in that period?
I think it's the same for many mums and working women who tend to go on to have children. Once you're on maternity leave, you don't want to go back. And you certainly don't want to go back to a similar routine that you've had before. And when I was on my second maternity leave, my eldest and myself, we used to watch a lot of makeover shows, and we got into like interior design, and it was something that we thought we were going to launch as a business. And we did, alhamdulillah. And we ran that business for a short while, and then I went back to work. And over the course of those years, like I'd slowly started networking with other mums in business, other business owners, and started getting a feel for what other kind of businesses were out there. And then like the well-being industry, the health industry, the coaching industry came to the forefront. And I started looking at what other coaches were doing. And I was like, well, if they're making such a success of this, this is something that I can definitely do as well, because I'm naturally inclined to have these skills and techniques and abilities that coaching makes use of. So why don't I have a look at and explore and see if this is something for me? And so I think for me, it was kind of once that seed had like started to become a seedling, naturally Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up the doors for me, and different avenues were directing me down a path towards entrepreneurship and coaching in particular.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And, you mentioned that because that's an interesting period, I think. And you're not the first person to mention this. I think I've spoken to a few sisters who came to me and we're in a period where like, I want maternity leave. I don't want to go back. And so I want to set something up now that I have this free time, so that, inshallah, a year or two from now, I don't have to be working. And I definitely think that sometimes when you have those moments where you're away from the hustle and bustle, it gives you the clarity to really examine, what do I really want in life? And, a lot of times for entrepreneurs, maybe it's not, the grind of the 9 to 5 and working for a boss for the rest of my life. So what were you struggling with before joining MBA? What kind of stage were you at in your business? And what is it that you felt like you needed help with when you decided for us to work together?
I had lots and lots of ideas, and
Hmm.
I had lots of things that I was thinking about, and I was absorbing so much information from other people already in the industry, people
Yeah.
who had success, people who were starting out, people who were like midway through their journey, and I was absorbing all of that and thinking, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is what I should be doing. I should be replicating this, or this is the path that I need to go down. And eventually I got to a stage where it was, well, which path do I choose to go down? Which path is
Mm.
actually going to take me onto this entrepreneurship journey that's going to take me to having a successful business. And so I think there was a lot of brainstorming, but there wasn't an
Mm.
awful lot of direction. And this time round, like when I was thinking about my entrepreneurship journey, I wanted it to be very much grounded in my deen, and I wanted it to be very much led by my deen. And
Yeah.
so it took me a while to sort of bring everything together and understand what I wanted my business to look like. Once that happened, then obviously I came across Ummahpreneur, and just the messaging and the clarity of being so held down and grounded by the deen, that was what really, inspired me. And I thought, you know what, I'm looking at all these people running businesses, and I'm looking at coaches who are saying they're investing in coaches, and
Hmm.
maybe like it's time to actually invest and make sure that what I'm doing is the right thing to do, because ultimately I had a limited amount of time. So I
Yeah.
couldn't do everything myself. I couldn't sit there, research, then take those steps, then wait for it to work or not to work, and give me direction to think, okay, change it up now. Let's see what's actually going to get you to where you need to be. And then so I kind of just bit the bullet and thought, you know what, I'm going to book a call because I need to know what a business coach does. What can
Hmm.
a business coach offer me if I make that investment on my entrepreneurship journey? And where can I get to if I use a business coach rather than doing this by myself?
Right. Looking back at that decision, are you happy that you made the decision to move forward, or do you regret it?
1,000,000% yes. I'm so happy I made that decision, honestly. Like, I get it now. I get why people invest in themselves, and I get why
Mhm.
people invest in their business. And, coaches have coaches at the end
Yeah.
of the day. And, I don't think I could have ever got where I am today in such a short amount of time, feeling so supported throughout the
Mhm.
whole journey, and having such a beautiful community that just reinforces the fact that having a Muslim business and being a Muslim business owner is something that, our deen encourages us to do.
Yeah. 100%. And you built a really beautiful business, mashallah. I want to ask you about it in a second, but before I dive into that, um, in regards to what you're saying, right? And the importance of having a coach. For you, having a coach through your journey, I'm sure it's helped you in many different ways, but can you share with us maybe one of the big ways that you feel like just this part was something that I didn't know I needed, and it absolutely changed the game for me? Or it's really this specific thing that you provide, Abby, or that the program provides, that for me was just the game changer? Is there
Mm.
something that stands out to you?
Um, I think the automation side.
Hmm.
So, like one of the things that was overwhelming me was how many different systems I needed to set up, how many different ways I needed to do things to be able to like get to the end point, and
Hmm.
the time it would have taken to do that. And although, like in the back of my mind, I kind of knew there were a few things that I would have to set up, like automated email sequences and things like that. I don't think I was fully aware of what automation actually involves.
Yeah.
And so having like short, 20, 30-minute videos that talks you through all of that, helps you set it up. Your hand is held the entire time, and then
Mm.
having the additional support to actually say, this is not working for me, what am I doing wrong? Or, like, can I do it this way? Would it work better for me this way in my business? Just that, I don't think I could have ever anticipated how simple MBA made that for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear. I'm glad to hear that, because that's something that even to this day, actually, and I'm sure you know this because you're in the program, but we're always improving the program. And I'm actually planning to improve Fuel, which is what you have access to in the program as well. And even to this day, I feel like, you know what, we can probably make it better. We can probably make it better. We can probably make it even easier for you guys and simpler. And so our challenge is always like, how can we even make it more simple? And to hear that from you is just really, alhamdulillah, like reassuring, in regards to awesome, like the work that we're doing is paying off with our students, which is ultimately what we care about. So tell me about your business. What is the business that you used MBA and our support and our coaching to help build? What is it that you are focusing on? What clients do you serve? And ultimately, what do you help them achieve?
So my business is emotional intelligence coaching for Muslims, and I work with Muslim women. The reason I chose emotional intelligence is because I feel that certainly as a Muslim community, this is something, and especially being children of immigrants, we are not necessarily in tune with our emotions. Yet
Right.
our emotions hold us back in so many ways and can be roadblocks in so many areas of our lives. And I truly believe that we have a holistic health that is connected with our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And if we want to gain that closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we want to emulate the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we need to cleanse our heart of the uncomfortable and negative emotions so that we can think of our brothers as we think of ourselves. And I think
Mhm.
that this was something that was really missing in the community itself. We're working towards an area, a situation, a place where social media is quite selfish and it encourages you to be quite selfish. Yet Islam is very heavily grounded in maintaining ties and a sense of community. And what I do is I help people manage their relationships, especially difficult relationships, by creating healthy boundaries, by gaining a clarity of who they are and how they want to show up in a relationship, and resolving conflicts so that disagreements don't necessarily turn into arguments and they are able to manage and live in a
Mm.
community with a sense of a community around them.
Mhm. What for you have you seen? Because mashallah, you really focus on something that is transformational for your clients, and you come from a background of accounting, right? And that's something that a lot of people kind of look at, and they say, well, I'm coming from X background. I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor, I'm a physician, or I'm in IT, and they're like, I do want to build a business where I'm passionate about this other thing, but it's not really something that I've done before. Someone that's listening to this and that's thinking to themselves, there's this thing that I'm really passionate about, but it's not what I currently do. Is there any advice you would give them? Because you're living proof that you don't have to build a business around your job and your career and what you already know. You can build a business around something that you're actually interested in. Is there any
Yeah,
advice that you'd give them, or anything you'd say?
I would say get to know yourself first. I think that's the
Mm.
most important thing because everybody looks at other businesses and especially successful businesses and wants to do the same thing.
Mm.
And I share that. I will look at another business and think I could be a business coach, I could be a mentor, I could do this, I could do that. Everything is accessible these days and you feel
Yeah.
like you could do anything. At the end of the day, get to know yourself first. Like my coaching business works because those are natural skills that come to me. I'm quite a sensitive person. I'm quite compassionate. I'm quite empathetic. And so those are the skills that I use within my coaching business. And if I was to look at being an accountant often you are very career driven and you can be quite ambitious and just want to move forward, on your own, stepping forward through those career hoops and getting
Mm.
progression. For me, accountancy has always been about being a part of a team as well and coaching people around me and being mentored by people around me. So I've always had those skills within me. And had I not got to know myself first and my natural inclinations, what I was good at, what I could offer other people, it would have been very hard for me to set up a business in a industry and a topic that's completely different to what I've been educated in that sense.
Right. Do you feel like for you now, obviously, now that you've actually worked with clients and you've been able to experience that, okay, like I'm able to actually help them in this way and help them achieve the transformation. Like, what was that like for you as you started going through that journey of working with your initial few clients and starting to realize like, oh, I can really do this. Like, what did that feel like? Because again, I want people who are on the other side of the fence who are thinking about it, but maybe they're scared. Maybe they think they aren't capable. Maybe they don't believe in themselves. To hear from someone like you who's done it, right? So, I mean, what was that like for you to work with those few clients? Because I'm sure you had anxieties, you had fears. Like,
Yeah.
was there any anxieties or fears there? And like, how did you overcome them? And what actually happened when you did work with the clients, right? Like, what was the result?
Of course, I had a lot of anxiety because when you first start working with a client, you don't necessarily have your fully developed coaching program.
Mm.
And it's not something that you're going to take them through from step by step. And, it's all planned out and it's been tested. So it's that very first time. And, for me, I had a few slides of things that I wanted to talk about. And the rest was like, okay, well, this is going to be kind of client led now. And, I'm going to take direction from what they want to speak about also, and give them the safe space. So for me, my main priority was to create a safe space where they could talk about emotions and people pleasing and boundaries and difficult topics that within relationships they might not necessarily have been able to with the people that they value.
Mhm.
So when I was working with my first few clients, I was really anxious of coming across as somebody who could create a safe space for them. And the beautiful thing about working with people is that although you're the coach and you're offering the transformation, in some way they transform you too,
That's
because
awesome.
it is so rewarding. Like it's so honorable to be a part of their journey, a part of their transformation, to see them move from like A to B and that penny finally drop and them walk away thinking, yes, I've got the confidence now, I've got the clarity now, I'm able to deal with these things and like life will be better. I think one
100%.
turning point for me, like especially because I'm a mum as well, was one of my clients. She was a mum, and she said to me that the reason she wanted to stop people pleasing and to create healthy boundaries was that so she could teach her daughters to do the same, so that they wouldn't have to go through what she went through to be able to do that. And that just
Mhm.
resonated with me so much, because it just made me think that I've not only just changed her life or helped her transform, but this is now like going to go down for generations. Like she's
Of
going to
course.
teach her daughters and they're going to be able to use these skills going forward. And as a mum, that's what I try and do within our household too. So that really resonated with me. And I think that's when I really thought, yes, this is the path that I definitely want to take.
Amazing, mashallah. I love hearing that story. Honestly, nothing makes me happier because sometimes we don't realize the impact that we have and that we can make.
Yeah.
And kind of hearing that and seeing that, wow, like not only are we going to help impact, our clients, but we're going to help impact, the environment that our clients are in. A lot of times we don't recognize that, right? Like
Yeah.
even for us working together as we're working to kind of build this business, like this is not only like improving your life and affecting and impacting your life, but I'm sure it's also impacting like your family's life and the people around you. And um, there's always these ripple effects that happen, right?
100%.
Subhanallah. And sometimes we're not conscious of that, and we don't realize the amount of depth that we can reach. And that in itself is one of the biggest rewards. And I talk about that a lot. I talk about how in my content sometimes, like, you initially start a business because you want to make more money, right? And it's like what everyone wants to do. I want to make more money so I can quit my job and I can just have that financial freedom, which of course is an honorable goal to pursue and one that you should pursue. But then you realize that you stay in business because you're building something that you actually want to build. You're like, I'm excited to see this thing come to fruition. And you realize that you're working with clients and having these relationships, and they're fulfilling, right? Like working with your clients is fulfilling, building these relationships is fulfilling. And
Yeah.
that in itself is a reward as well. Have you experienced that on your side?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that the people, like even people who have helped me build my business, like I know that I keep them in my duas because they have helped me so much to progress in what I am doing. And so I hope that, like one day my clients will keep me in their duas as well, because
Right.
I want to, have that lasting impact. And to be honest, like for me, starting a business was more about making that impact, because I felt that like I had learned so much about emotional intelligence myself. I had gone on this spiritual journey myself, and now like I could feel the sweetness of iman, I could feel the sweetness of having emotional intelligence. I wanted other people to have that too. And
Mm.
so every time I talk to somebody and I leave them in a better place than when we started having the conversation, that is ultimately my reward. I feel so rewarded for that. And I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much that He's given me the opportunity to have even the slightest impact in somebody else's life. And I feel like especially around the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba, the way that they had a brotherhood and the way that they supported each other and gave preference to each other is not necessarily something we have in our community now. So I
Mhm.
feel like when I am able to have an impact on somebody else, that's almost my contribution. It's my sort of intention and my action upon those same examples that we've been
Yeah.
set. And
Yeah.
so it gives me that sort of comfort to know that I'm doing something in the right direction as well. I may not be able to make huge changes at the moment, but the little changes that I am able to do and the actions that I am able to take, I can do that through my coaching, especially meeting Muslim women who are experiencing the things that I have experienced, and I can lead them away from that to a better, more fulfilling life.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And that, like, when you start to recognize that and you start to like absorb it and appreciate it,
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, like that is really when you start to realize, well, wow, this is really what keeps me waking up in the morning and keeps me going in those tough times. So it is a beautiful feeling, mashallah. And when you're an entrepreneur, so one thing that I do want to ask you is about the coaching. that's in the program as well, because you, mashallah, are actually one of the students who actually shows up to almost every coaching call, which I really, really love and appreciate, because that just goes to show, your dedication to your business and what it takes to succeed. And those coaching calls are open for everyone, right? And and then, they're usually like, we'll have maybe like 8, maybe 10 people. Sometimes it'll get a little bit more, depending on the number. But usually those people that are on the coaching calls, those are really like the ones who are like working on their business, they're dedicated, and they need help and they need support. And those are the ones that are really ultimately going to succeed. Those are the ones that I see, you know what, this person, because they're showing on the coaching calls, they're asking questions, I just know that they're going to make it and they're going to really excel in their business. And you're one of those people, mashallah. What has been your experience showing up to these weekly coaching calls, kind of having those conversations every single week, with a mentor, with other people in the program, asking questions, getting answers? Do you feel like that has been pivotal in your ability to grow your business and just kind of throughout your journey of building this business over the last few months?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, as a student, I never asked questions. I never once raised my hand in class, or I was never the one who wanted more clarity on things. I'd kind of just put my head down, go away, and pretend it would all work out in the end.
Right.
And so it takes a lot for me to put myself out there and ask questions and constantly show up with more and more questions. But what I've realized is that as an entrepreneur, this is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
This is my business. And if I'm not going to show up for it, who is? And
Right.
at the end of the day, I can employ as many coaches as I want. I can work with as many mentors as I want. And if I don't take action, nothing will change.
Yes.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps those who try and change their own circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's absolutely pivotal. I turn up to those coaching calls because Alhamdulillah, I have the opportunity to have you as a soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes those coaching calls, I'm just talking my thoughts out. It's not even a coherent question, but it's more like I was thinking this and I'm not sure about this, and just having
Right.
that soundboard ability, and to get somebody who's already experienced it, has probably an objective view of things, the bigger picture, be able to tell you, no, this is not where you want to be heading down, or actually, yeah, that's really good, just keep going down that path. And I feel like every week I have made progress in some way or the other, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's just been gaining the confidence to show up and create content, or it's actually been the ability to go and work in the background on things like automation, which is not something that's not natural to me. Wearing the many hats of entrepreneurship, each one of those calls has meant that I've been fully supported. And throughout the whole process, I've never felt alone. I've
Right.
never felt like
Alhamdulillah.
this is my burden to bear, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got to figure this out on my own. And if I don't, then I'm stuck here now. It's always felt like, no, there's a direction I'm moving forward in. There is an end goal in sight, and I just need to keep going. And I think sometimes the more impactful coaching calls are simply where you don't have a question, but it's just you're having a week and you just need that bit of, come on, you can do it, just
Yeah.
make one step and it'll be fine, just keep going. And just having somebody there behind you giving you that gentle nudge is sometimes just all you need. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that's why I show up, just as much as it's showing up to um show you that I value everything that I've been given in the MBA. It's also quite selfish in the sense that it's a sense of motivation and moving along for me in the journey too.
For sure, 100%. And I'm glad I'm glad that you say that. And honestly, nothing makes me happier than kind of seeing, seeing yourself and seeing the others joining the calls and asking questions and working on their businesses, because this is what it's about. This is what it is. And this is why I put in the time in the first place. Because with a lot of other programs, you'll see, maybe they'll get 1 hour a week, and then maybe it's the founder, maybe it's not, and it's very limited access to the person that's actually behind the scenes. I'm very, very involved with my students, but it's also like, I'm here, but you have to use me, right? I'm not going to go in and pull you up through the computer and tell you to come on the coaching call. You have to come on the coaching call if you need support. But if you do want to come on the coaching call, I will give you 100% of the time that you need, right? And 100% of the attention that you need. So I thank you for that. And one question that I would love to wrap up with today, Zahra, is, and you've been so kind to share with me your time again with this interview, is what would you tell people who are on the fence of making that investment in themselves, of joining MBA and kind of going through that process of building a business, all the stages and pretty much going through that journey of entrepreneurship?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is, don't do it because everybody else is doing it. because it is hard. You are giving up your weekends, your evenings, and sometimes you'll get to a stage where you're working on a certain thing and it just won't go away and you can't park it. You want to get it done, and it means
Right.
sacrificing time, it means sacrificing sleep, it means sacrificing energy. So only get into entrepreneurship if you are really ready to make that commitment and you are supported by those around you, because it does have an impact on your relationships. And to be fully supported by those around you who see the passion you have for entrepreneurship is so important, because that is what's going to keep you going.
Mhm.
If you're on the fence of joining MBA, don't be. Make that decision, make that investment. You won't find a better business coach, mentor, friend, confidant than Brother Abby. He is so invested in making everything work for you. And what I love about the coaching calls is that we are never limited to a topic. So it's never this week, we're only going to cover this module and that's it. Ask anything, and ask it as many times as you want. And you will always get an answer that helps you. And I don't think that in my journey of entrepreneurship, I've seen another program that offers you the support, the accountability, and the material that Brother Abby has put together in MBA. So if you are serious about starting an entrepreneur journey, start with Ummahpreneur in mind. Don't do
Inshallah.
what like many of us do and think, oh, we'll do it ourselves.
Mhm.
We will get to this stage and then we'll think about a business coach and think about investing. If you want to start a business, put aside that money now. That's going to help you get onto the program and start with the program. It will give you so much clarity, so much direction. And if it's something that you're doing as a side hustle, it will save you so much time. Um, and I think just have a pure intention, make the
Mhm.
intention to be of worth and impact to others, and what we must appreciate is that although just as we want our clients to treat us and value our time and value the time of people who mentor you and coach you, whether you spend money and invest with them or not, they are sharing their knowledge with you. And when someone offers you something extremely beneficial, take hold of that and learn from it, and don't go into entrepreneurship thinking you know it all. I'm an accountant, I see businesses every day, but I've never had the mindset that I know how to run a business. I have the mindset that I'm learning. Every day is a different topic for me to learn, to pick up on. And sometimes that means taking in content from people on social media who have businesses similar to mine, or maybe are further along in their journey, or marketing or sales geniuses. And sometimes it's sitting back and just understanding what the content is within MBA and going through that step by step. And I think if you can put all of that together, then there is no qualm about you having a successful business, inshallah.
Inshallah, definitely. Zahra, thank you so much for everything that you shared with me today, for your time, for your generosity. And I'm just looking forward to what you're going to be achieving and accomplishing in the coming months, inshallah. I'm really, really
Inshallah.
excited. You're at an amazing place in your business. Your progress has been so fast and so rewarding for me as a mentor to see and witness, mashallah. So I'm just looking forward to more of your success and praying for your success every day. May Allah grant you everything that you seek and more, inshallah. Thank you so
Ameen.
much for
And
today.
you. Jazakallah khairan for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity
Of
to show
course.
other people how valued MBA has been for me and the coaching process too.
Thank you so much, Zara. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
And you.
What you've just watched is an interview with myself and one of my students, Zahra Abbas, who is part of our Muslim Business Accelerator program. And Muslim Business Accelerator is a program dedicated to Muslim professionals and really Muslims of all backgrounds who are looking to take their skills, the knowledge that they have, the passion that they have, and turn it into a profitable and halal online business, and doing so in the form of coaching, consulting, or even through an agency. Now, if you're not sure what your business idea is and you need help with getting clarity on the business idea, you need help with setting up your business, with validating your business idea, getting your first few clients, scaling up the business where it's making up to 10K a month, 20K a month, even 30K a month, everything that we do within Muslim Business Accelerator is dedicated to walk you through step by step each one of these stages. So if you're a Muslim and you're thinking about building a halal online business, I'm going to drop a link below this video where you can click to watch a free masterclass that's going to show you a little bit more details on the process that we take to help take you from really having no business at all the way to having a six-figure online business, inshallah, and where you can also book a call with my team to speak to us through a free consultation where we can help determine if our program, Muslim Business Accelerator, is the best fit for you. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're looking to build a business online with the help of Ummahpreneur, make sure to click the link below and check that out. And I will look forward to speaking to you soon, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, barakallahu feekum, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.